Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. And welcome back to the Filmistines. We have a super special episode today. It's super special. And I'm joined with my one and only guest, my favorite guest. Not my guest, my co-host, the bacon-lovin' Lucy.
Bacon-lovin'.
Pulled that out right now.
All right.
I like bacon, too.
You like bacon, too?
I used to think bacon was overrated. And then I tried it.
Oh, no, man. Bacon's delicious.
Bacon's delicious.
Bacon is delicious.
Yeah.
You gotta make it right, though.
Oh, yeah. The overcooked bacon. I can only eat overcooked bacon when it's cold. I don't like overcooked bacon when it's warm.
Yeah.
Because it softens up when it's cold. When it's in the fridge for overnight, it softens up.
Yeah, I can't do overcooked bacon. It's just...
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. It's the texture. It's something. I just
it ruins it.
I don't like it, yeah.
I'd rather undercooked bacon than
for sure.
Bacon. Yeah. I'd rather the risk of getting sick than that abomination. So we must be talking about everyone's favorite pig movie.
Peppa Pig?
Yep.
Peppa Pig
sequel
goes to Hollywood.
No, Okja, the Korean American film Okja, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Came out in 2017 on Netflix. Came to theaters in Korea, South Korea.
That's awesome.
North Korea doesn't have theaters. They have fake theaters.
Fake theaters?
Yeah.
Like...
Nobody can go. No North Korean can go, but if you look at them through the Google Maps on the road and stuff, you'll see fake cutouts of people walking in fake theaters. Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
True story.
That's creepy.
To give the impression to Westerners that everything's okay over there. But in fact, everyone's underground making missiles and nuclear bombs.
Oh my gosh.
So,
well,
pray for the North Koreans.
Pray for us.
Pray for the rest of the world that who doesn't get bombed by
North
Korea.
Korea.
His name? Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jong-un.
Or Kim Il-jung?
I just kind of like grunt it.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
Yeah, as an American, you can kind of get away from that.
Yeah.
Like you don't. Yeah. We're not really over there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We might be their enemy. Are we enemy number one to North Korea? I'm not sure. But released in theater in South Korea, Okja did, which is pretty interesting. Did not release in America in theater, which is a shame, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I like to see great creators make money. You know.
Right.
Came to Netflix 2017. One of these super rare, even to this day, to 2023. One of these super rare, excellent Netflix movies. I can't think of another. Can you?
Not at the top of my head.
I can think of a couple shows. Oh, speaking of which, Black Mirror season whatever is coming back.
Yeah,
Black Mirror's coming back.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. I think
Charlie,
whatever his name is, a little bit of a has-been. He's all washed up. He said what his stories came out, and he needs to own that he doesn't have any more in the cooker. Or at least, maybe we should give it more time. Or maybe we come out with some movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of those Black Mirror episodes should have been movies, probably.
Yeah, it's some of the earlier ones for sure.
Yeah, they would have served. Netflix better and Charlie Chaplin or something. I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't even know Charlie.
Charlie White?
I don't know.
Charlie White, that would be funny because Black Mirror.
No, I mean, yeah, shows I can think of a few, but movies,
The Irishman, that was pretty good apparently.
I didn't see that.
That's a Martin Scorsese film.
Didn't see it.
There's a David Lynch show in the works, I think. Might be. Or maybe it's a movie. I can't remember. It's a Netflix movie or show.
It's out?
It's in the works.
Oh, in the works.
Codename Wisteria.
Oh, that's been in the works. Is that even going to come out?
Yeah, at some point. Is Okja underrated? Is it underviewed? I feel like everyone who has seen it likes it quite a bit. I don't remember hearing anything about it in 2017.
I saw it in 2017 when it came out on Netflix. I even saw like coming out to Netflix in whatever date, and then it came out and my mom saw it first and she's like, hey, you should watch this movie. And I had seen, kind of their little advertisement, whatever, and I saw it and I loved it. But as far as anyone talking about it or the rest of my family talking about it or my friends, no, nobody was really talking about it. No one was recommending it. I'd ask people and they wouldn't really know what I was talking about. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit underappreciated, underseen. I don't know if enough people have seen this film.
I got a couple awards at the indie. Well, I guess the Cannes Festival is not indie per se, but they do have a lot of indie stuff there.
Then it's definitely underappreciated.
What stuck out to you in this film?
What stuck out to me?
What stuck out to you?
The whole film?
The whole film, because we got Bong Joon-ho has quite the filmography.
Anything I know?
Snowpiercers.
Nope.
Parasite.
Kind of nope.
Mother.
Nope.
Host.
By the book? The Host? Or just Host?
Is The Host a Stephen King book?
It's a Stephanie Meyer book. Twilight lady.
Yeah, I don't think that's
okay.
I don't think there's any connection.
Then nope.
So no experience with Bong Joon-ho. He's
nope.
Only probably the most important director working today.
Wow.
Yeah. He's as good as it gets. And Okja is probably one of his weaker movies.
No way.
Yes, ma'am.
In this movie, I love this movie. I love it.
It's awesome. This movie is awesome.
I mean, everything. The storyline. The, Okja herself. The characters. I mean, I don't have anyone that directly sticks out to me to have been a weak link or a weak performance. I mean, everything in this film was, awesome.
So the first half of this movie to me is pretty perfect up until the what are they called, the AFL or something like that.
The AF, American ALF,
and isn't it Animal Freedom Animal
AFF
Animal Liberation Front. Here, I got it.
ALF.
Right,
okay.
ALF, which they're fun. Right up until they enter the fold, I think this movie is perfect. The movie starts to fall a little flat for the most part for the rest of the movie for me. Not a bad way, just kind of plateaus at its peak, and it doesn't really keep growing for me until we get the separation between Mija and Okja. Or Mija from the ALF. When they become separated, I think the movie picks up a little more. I think they are the weak link, if I had to pick one. But this movie, every performance, every shot is good. Very good. But the beginning part, especially when she's with her granddad up at her mountain, countryside, jungle side residence, where her and Okja jump off waterfalls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, shot for shot, is just perfect.
Yeah.
I've never seen a movie. I don't know about never, but I haven't seen a movie in a while that just is masterfully shot with color and
oh my gosh,
composition.
Yes.
I've never seen a jungle, kind of temperic. Is that the right temporal? Is that the biome?
Yeah.
Semi-jungle, light jungle area shot with such beauty. And, for a CG to be kind of mixed in there, it just, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I have down that just the color of the jungle is it's beautiful, and it kind of gave me like the newer King Kong movie vibes, but done so much better.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you that those, if I had to pick a weaker performance, it is when
not performance, but just kind of tapering of the plot.
Well, I think even performances, yeah.
When the
ALF gets involved, but it's so minor that I wouldn't even want to say it, but yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
My favorite performance is definitely the grandpa.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
He's one of the stars. He
yes.
really is. And Mija, she's good. She's excellent, but she doesn't stick out in any meaningful way next to her grandpa and next to Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Right.
Johnny Wilcox.
Dr. Johnny.
He's obviously the spectacle character of the whole show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a hard time judging where this movie was going from the start because it feels like it's going to lean into sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when they catch and collect a lot of what they eat. And even like when she caught that little minnow or whatever that was, you know, she could have just done nothing with it, dropped it, you know, not even thought about it, but she tossed it, you know, carefully in the water.
Yeah.
To let it grow up so she could eat it in 6 months. So I think at face value, I think this movie can look like a watch this and maybe you'll consider veganism, vegetarianism, but
yeah,
I don't think it's even remotely the intent. Although I think it's just a side effect, seeing the grossness of the
right
food industry and corporatism. Seeing the gross side of that can kind of turn anyone off in any scenario with, you know, with whatever product you're talking about. In this case, the meat slaughterhouse industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the intent. It's not what the movie is trying to say.
Yeah, because if it was, Mija would be vegetarian.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But I do think it's something that just it happened. It's what if you weren't paying full attention, or if you just got the gist of the movie, then yeah, that's what you would get from it.
Yeah, certainly at face value for sure.
And I mean, the Google searches for the word vegan went up 65% when Okja came out.
That's unbelievable, and it kind of proves a fickleness of one's principles. You know what I mean? And you see that. I feel like you see that everywhere across entertainment and video games and whatever drama's happening on the internet. People, you know, Balenciaga grooms children, you know. I'm sure Balenciaga is probably more successful right now than ever. You know, their numbers are probably as high as they've ever been at this point. You know, we're so far removed because everyone's forgotten, you know, just like, do we remember that Russia's invading the Ukraine right now?
No, everyone's forgotten. No.
You remember Australia being on fire? Like the whole continent?
Yes. I mean,
the whole country, I guess.
Sadly, though, that's how it is.
What about Jackson not having clean water for almost a year now?
Oh my gosh.
So, you know,
it is. I mean, it is. You're right. And
not that anyone cared about those in the first place. So, to be fair.
If you really pay attention to the movie, they're kind of making fun of the extremity of
absolutely
veganism.
Absolutely.
So how are you going to
take
watch
away
this and then say, "Oh, I'm going to become vegan now"?
Yes.
The guy. Do you remember his name? The really extreme one.
Jay? Paul Dano?
No. The one who was like super extreme and he was getting dehydrated and he was trying to like limit.
He had like frosted tips.
Yeah, his amount
real
of
skinny guy. Yeah.
Footprints he wanted to leave on this.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, like he was the epitome of
the absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
He was the satire, the core of the satire of the ALF.
Yeah.
Because he's not eating. They try and get him to eat that tomato. And the next thing we see him eating what? Asparagus. One of the, not per se most harmful things to the environment, but one of the least sustainable vegetables grown.
Yeah. I love how we both saw him eat that asparagus and we just looked at each other and we were like, what?
That just screams absurdity, and that people don't understand. I don't know, maybe not that, but people don't
make the connection.
I don't know, I'm gonna say I love it though. I love that
people just don't pay attention.
Because up to that point, I want to say the AFLK. I don't know what that is.
You can call them that.
Up until that point, they seem very true and righteous, of course, and knowledgeable and, safe. They don't want to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And we see their not really the cracks, but just the exceptions. I don't even call them exceptions because they're just these really absurdist kind of angles that they take on it that are okay. Like, I mean, the other one will be Jay beating the shit out of Glenn from The Walking Dead.
I think his name is K.
Yeah, Steven Yeun's character, K.
I think it's J and K. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's
It's even
exactly what I was
JK?
thinking. Huh?
The two main ALF.
Oh.
You cannot tell me that. That's funny.
I think it is.
JK.
I think it's.
They are the two main guys. JK. Wow. Genius satire.
Let me look that up. But yeah.
I didn't even make that connection. And then he brutally beats the shit out of him. And I get, he's ultra principled, which is also making fun of activists. They are just these ultra principled people who have, I don't want to say they have no idea about the interconnectivity of every industry and human lifestyles, but they just bitch and complain about, problems, in quotes, problems, and provide no solution. There's no solution to the ALF.
Yes.
They just want to stop what's happening. There's no alternative. And I know that's the card everyone who's remotely against whatever activist group is going to pull. They're going to say, all right, well, what's the manifesto that you go by? What's the solution here? There isn't one. And I think that he makes a point. Bong Joon-ho's obviously making a point that there isn't one. It's very impulsive. It's very, we got to stop this now. There's no organization to any of it. Because I think even did you read what the end credit thing was?
The end credit scene where they release them?
Yeah, Jay's released and he immediately joins up with another, I guess, group of ALF people and they stop something that the Miranda Corporation is doing. Immediately. It's like there's no, reconnaissance. There's no, recouping,
Let's think about this.
Yeah, there's no, operation,
That's funny.
And so obviously, that's kind of a funny point. Because remember, I was telling you about, I was reading this article about how this movie is basically propaganda. And propaganda in a low-P kind of way, obviously, because there's not any, there's no stateship here. There's no statism, I don't think you can say, although corporations are becoming bigger than states, so maybe we need to start concerning ourselves about that. But I don't know how you find propaganda in something so, I don't want to say satirical, but just satirical.
What do you mean by propaganda?
I think their definition of propaganda was not showing the multiple sides to a problem. And I think the core of that problem with trying to expose this movie as propaganda is this movie isn't picking sides. I don't think any movie, well, I'm not going to say that, but I don't think very many movies pick sides. Movies show perspectives.
Yeah.
So there's not a picking and choosing. There's a perspective on the matter that's not up for negotiation. It's what's happening in the movie, It's, if it's a good movie, it's showing someone's response to a conflict, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like the end, Misha giving Nancy, I think that was her name.
Yeah.
Her gold pig. I'm going to buy Okja from you.
Because it's not, the corporatism is not what's important here. It is an interesting angle that we see a little bit of, but we are on the journey with Misha.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of anti-corporation or corporate sympathizers, corporate sympathism acting here. I don't think Bong Joon-ho or Misha places themselves in a way to criticize any corporation in any meaningful way. He's basically painting a picture of hypermodernism, of what we've allowed to happen with corporations and how they've run away with being basically countries within countries, these ethereal countries operating across the whole world, These companies are supported by, all these major companies. There's more major companies in the world than, major in the sense that there's hundreds of millions of people working with them, or sustaining them, I should say, more than there are people living in each country. He's putting a magnifying glass on this specific industry, which happens to be the meat industry. It could be any industry, I think, in this movie.
Yeah.
But to build a friendship with a living creature, it kind of forces itself to be either A, I mean, I gotta retract my livingness, I guess, but an AI type thing, right? Or a living creature, like the food industry. Or I guess you could also introduce, I don't know, human trafficking too. But there's a couple angles you could come at it with. But I don't think this movie would deviate too much from the core of putting that magnifying glass on hypermodernism and the love between person A and the thing, or, you know, the lead character and the thing, whatever it is. And I don't think it would change too much, because I think at the core is a love story of something that's hard for other people to understand.
Okay. I don't know, because I think it's important that it is an animal in this film. Whether it's, you know, a genetically modified one or not, that's a different story. But I do think that a bit of the point is to love animals and to appreciate animals and to appreciate the environment. You know, making that jungle so beautiful, like that's got to be something that is a point. Making Okja so, you know, lovable and playful, you know, it does remind me of that relationship I have with, you know, my cat. You know, like some of my favorite scenes from Okja are them whispering to each other. You know, Mija whispers into Okja's ear. Yes, that connection, that love, like that's huge in this. I don't think it's supposed to, like, for the audience to have taken it to the extreme of, oh, you know, love animals, let's not eat them. Like, no, back away. Like, just love these creatures that you spend all this time with, you know, like our dogs. We have, you know, dog moms, cat moms, you know, that's a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think it's that beautiful journey you go through the lanes of finding that thing you love and protecting it, fighting for it.
Do you remember the lady in the wheelchair when Okja was running through, like, the subway?
Mm-hmm.
That lady voiced Okja.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so I think it was Bong Joon-ho who said in a interview, said that lady was yelling at herself.
That's funny.
Because when she was yelling, when she was in the wheelchair, she was yelling at herself.
That's funny. I think this movie also makes you open your eyes about a little bit of the cruelty in this world. Being Misha, I don't know how old she's supposed to be in the film. I guess, you know, a kid, for sure.
12, 13 maybe.
About, yeah, somewhere around there. And she's, you know, her world is up there in the mountains with Okja and her grandpa. And that's probably all she's ever known. And then...
Yeah, we don't know if she goes to school or what.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't seem like it. Unless it happened during the summer or whatever. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't even know if she goes to school.
And then all of a sudden she has to face, like, the extreme, not only, you know, a different culture, different language, but all these animals getting butchered and these bad people, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the ALF coming to, you know, I guess facing all that she's faced in this, you know, adventure. And I guess when they're on the stage and he tells her to, like, turn around and not watch, you know, basically Okja getting raped by that big other Okja.
Another super pig.
Yeah, another super pig. And he's like, don't look at that. But we're seeing that. And I mean, it's just, this film made me cry. It is such an eye opener of all this cruelty. So I like that, and
yeah, I do too.
I couldn't stop crying. After I was like, oh man, this world is so cruel.
Yeah, it paints a really bleak but beautiful picture of the state of like slaughterhouses and raising pigs like that and cattle.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's almost like a Andy Warhol painting where it's further, it's stretched further than you can possibly see. It's nighttime, but
yeah, I mean, the ending just we don't get a happy ending. We do, but we don't. Like, okay, Mija got Okja. They rescue that baby. They're back up in their mountains with their grandpa having a dinner, whatever that was. But in the back of your mind, you're like,
yeah,
oh man.
But at the end of the day, this was Mija's story.
At the end of the day, it was Mija's story.
Everything else is largely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it's just on the back. That's kind of just the backdrop. Bong Joon-ho painted for us.
I mean, it's done so beautifully.
And I think that is often one of the best ways to get into these kind of conversations about whatever it is, whatever protest, activism, environmentalists, sustainability, corporatism, veganism kind of conversations.
Yeah.
It's best done through films, putting that not necessarily on the back burner, but in something that's a little bit obscured because that's how it is in real life. We don't operate with any of these at face value. We don't operate with any of these with, some people, yes, work at a slaughterhouse, but what other millions of industries are they not privy to? I really appreciate that kind of hyper modernism where we just, and I might even say we see a hair too much behind the scenes with Lucy and Nancy.
Oh, okay.
I might even say we see a hair too much, but
yeah.
I think that's just Bong Joon-ho's humor coming out because the corporate overlord at the beginning, or so we think. Nancy's obviously actually in control, but so we think. Lucy Miranda, is that her name? Yeah,
Miranda. Mm-hmm.
She's this almost mix of, I don't know, Elon Musk and some major YouTuber or something,
Yeah.
And she's got this really beautiful plan. Like, it's not even clear she knows these animals. I mean, maybe it is, but it feels like her energy feels like it's not even clear to her that she knows these animals are genetically modified, like most animals that we eat are. Or even the degree of like how many they already have in circulation or being raised to be put into circulation. Like, it's not even clear she even knows about that slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Her energy does not give away like corporate overlord. It gives away naivety and romanticism. And she's got this amazing idea to give 26 pigs around the world to different people in different countries and see, and come back in 10 years and see who's got the best pig. This great campaign,
and that's it.
And then that's it, and then she gets displaced by who knows what's up as far as running the industry goes. Or maybe we don't get enough. We don't see the change of hands, or are we? I think the moment they do have a I was gonna say, are they just different personalities of each other? But we see them in the same scene.
Who?
Lucy and Nancy in one scene after the riots happen.
We do see them when she gives her the cigarette.
Yeah. That's like it though.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the change of the the change of batons right there happening.
Yep.
And that's also just kind of in a way, maybe Nancy wasn't in charge the whole time, but it's also kind of a funny way where when optics go bad, you just give the baton to someone else. It's like, oh, okay, that's how corporations work, which is funny because it seems like that happens in real life.
Yeah. But I love what you said about this is Mija's story, and here are the other elements to bring up these discussions. I like that, especially we see the talk of genetically modified organisms, but we don't know his stance really.
Yeah,
we don't know whether he's for them or against them. I mean, honestly, how can you be against them? But completely different topic. But it does get that conversation started, agriculture, environmental protection, capitalism.
The movie that comes to mind when I say that is Jurassic Park, where it's, you know, it's Alan Grant's and Ellie's
Ellie, yeah.
Ellie's story to stay alive. But what's actually at play here is, or not actually, I guess what's literally at play is they're staying alive. But like, what do we take away from this on some level? A lot of things, but you know, we don't fuck around with something. You know, we need to like can't handle things with super kid gloves or just not fuck with it.
Yeah.
And there's some of that happening here, except I think that's a little more intended. I think the love here is a little too much to overshadow anything else in this movie. The love is the focal point through and through the entire film. That's one reason I think the ALFK they make things a little muddy, but they'd also make things a little muddy for Mija too, not just us. You know,
that's true.
You know, I guess she is kind of the audience surrogate. So yes, they make, you know, what happens to her happens to us, but we see their ineptitude. They're not organized in any way, you know? And yeah. I just thought of another kind of absurdist example is like when they're in the subway and they are cornered and they whip out those, like, umbrella? The cops are coming down and they whip out those umbrellas and like they deflect stuff and they like hurt, you know, they knock everybody out non-lethally and stuff. And it's just like, it's awesome on screen. They capture it so well, you know? But it just depicts the, like, these guys don't know what they're doing. You know, like, I just can't help but to think that. But yeah, they do know what they're doing. They didn't die. They didn't get arrested. They got away, you know? So, like, they know what they're doing, I guess, on some level, but they just are not capable of handling situations when they go awry, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm looking here at the poster of Okja. And it's got... See, this is kind of my thing I was saying up front, is there's just a factory on the back of Okja. Yeah. It's non-representational. It's got big smokestacks. I would wonder if there are even big smokestacks at big slaughterhouses. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just representational of just modern corporatism and how far we're taking it. We're allowing it to happen. How far we're allowing it to happen, because, you know, Apple's only this big because we allowed it to happen. Right. Sure, we've been preyed upon on some level, but we all have enough free will to say, I don't like where this is going. But a lot of people probably don't even realize how big Apple is. Apple could buy your state or most of your countries, wherever you're at.
I mean, we do, but
it's like inconceivable.
But we don't.
You know? It's like understanding. It's like wrapping your head around the distance between planets, or the size of bigger planets. You know, sure, you can maybe wrap your head around Earth, but can you wrap your head around Jupiter? Can you wrap your head around that they've had a hurricane going on for almost 100 years? That's 3 times in diameter the size of Earth. Can you wrap your head around that? It's just not. It's inconceivable. You know, and I think things like that, the money, because, you know, most people, you know, are not very familiar with millions and millions of dollars, but trillions of dollars is like, it's just that, it's that one step removed. I think people can wrap their head around $1 million pretty easily, but that $1 trillion,
I don't think so.
See, I mean, even if they couldn't, you know?
I don't think so.
But that $1 trillion, $1,000 million, like, it's just like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Wait, I mean, 100,000. Excuse me. $1,000 million would be $1 billion. Excuse me. It's fine though. The corporations taking over is fine. I'm fine with that. They make our lives easier, I think.
I mean, even Mija gives into it.
And she's not even...
She's like, here, take my gold. Let me keep my pig.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make a stand. I'm not here to...
She's also saying...
She's playing into it.
Yeah. She is, and it's like, but it's like not, it's like it's like someone who doesn't really care to operate on that level, or like, I mean, I should say, and that you can't put a price on love.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
She's willing to go to these degrees because she doesn't want to operate on that level. Who wins? The corporation still wins. Yep. She wins, but corporation still wins, but I mean, we see that when you buy your iPhones too. You win. We all win when we buy our iPhone. It's a great piece of technology. Probably the coolest thing ever made by human beings, next to AI and 3D printing. The corporation wins too. China loses though. Actually, they're winning, I guess. We all win. Maybe a corporation should run for president. Some representative of a corporation should run for president. We're all winning when they're winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not sure if I'm winning when we got whoever's in office now.
I mean,
I don't even know.
tell my paychecks that.
Shit, you losing, aren't you?
I'm losing.
You're right. Never mind.
I don't got kids. I don't got dependents.
Damn,
I don't got nothing.
You're losing.
I'm losing.
Why do you like her grandpa? Mija's grandpa.
Just something about, the old, like, kind of smart ass grandpas. He's like, here, let's go talk to your parents. And then they're at the grave. And it's like, what?
And then a great shot, too. Another great shot.
Yeah.
We don't see the graves straight up.
Yeah.
They're kind of obscured because we're off to an angle. And if you're not looking carefully, you could not see them because they're kind of, we're seeing the side of the grave, not like the flat part. And so it could easily look like a broken stump or something,
Yeah.
Very cool shot. Their house, very cool. I love the layout of it. I love the end shot where it might have happened earlier on too, where they were eating around, they're eating at their dinner table, their dinner space, and the camera was kind of positioned between them, looking at each other, and the pig. Well, I guess actually, I think Mija was facing the camera, and then her grandpa was to the left of her, but we could see Okja in the background through the window.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome framing.
I don't think we saw that because I also
That wasn't at the beginning.
No, I don't think it was at the beginning.
That was awesome.
I saw that and I'm like, oh my god, perfect family. Like, made me cry even more.
Yeah, to kind of talk about how like vibrant the area is in that part of South Korea, and that kind of complemented and yin and yanged with the drab gray skyscrapers and factory and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite part of those two coming together the first and a half.
Yeah,
because I guess, to be honest, a lot of the ALF bits don't really stick in my mind.
One stuck in my mind, which is
probably
maybe along the lines of my favorite scene / dialogue, maybe more on the dialogue side, but when they talk about translations are sacred, and me coming from a multi-language household, translations are sacred, man. You don't fuck with that. And just like, that was the biggest, like, how dare you, in the movie
crazy.
For me.
That was pretty crazy.
I actually found something on that so let me see if I get this right. Okay, so in that scene where right after Kay had just mistranslated what Mija said, and he's like, nope, she agreed, and everyone's like, yay. When they were all hopping off the van, whatever that was, into the lake, he says, as he's jumping out, in the subtitles, it translates it as, how was my Korean? Try learning English, and then something else he said. But in Korean, what he actually said, and only like Korean American people would get this, is he says, my name is Goosoon Bomb, or something like that. So like, even that was a mistranslation. So it's
I
like,
wonder if that was intentional
like, that's hilarious.
Or that's just localization. That's funny.
And then that brings a whole nother topic of these movies mistranslating, or like I've told you many times, like the films titles in these like Mexican versus American films. Like the first one that comes to mind is Holes. In Mexico, that movie's not called Holes. It's called The Adventures of the like Diggers or something like that. Like,
that's hilarious.
So I think he he's so clever. Yeah. What's his name?
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, he's so clever that
intentional.
I think it was intentional.
Yeah, because he's very. At this point, I think you could say he's kind of obsessed with the collaboration of English and Korean filmmaking happening together. I think so. I think it's 100% intentional. Now that's gonna drive people. Not very many, probably. Most people don't probably have the intellectual drive to figure it out. But I could see him pulling that stunt.
Yeah. which is
over
awesome.
and over again.
So I already like that. The translation is sacred, and then he even got it tattooed at the end. Like,
that was sick.
I already all love that,
Yeah.
and then finding this out, I'm like, oh my god, that is so clever.
Yeah.
So that was
tattoo
cool.
is another good example of just the absurdity of their group and how just like you go to these are the links you guys go to for what end, like what is the agenda here? There's no manifesto, I love it. I love it. You make me appreciate them a little bit more. I think that's all probably done brilliantly, but it detracts my attraction to Mija getting to her destination. But then again, she probably wouldn't get there without them.
That's true.
I don't think would she get there?
She took his advice. She went and got a book to learn English so she could, negotiate Okja's fate at the end. So, I mean, I think she would have gotten Okja back no matter what, Yeah. Love conquers all.
Yeah.
But they drove her. She got her book to speak English.
What do you think about Dr. Johnny Wilcox?
I
mean, why is he every human being to ever live? Why is he representational of us?
Of Americans?
Of just people who eat food and love animals.
I don't know. I don't want to say that. That's too cruel. He's a bad guy.
I don't know if he is bad.
He is bad.
I think
he tortures Okja.
I think he's just very confused.
He takes out samples of her meat and feeds them to the tasters.
He doesn't want to, though. He doesn't want to.
I don't know.
He's a pawn, though. He has no choice. His life is probably on the line, and when considering the power of this corporation. What is the GDP of this corporation? How many people work there? I want to know that. There's probably over 100,000 people who work for this.
Yeah, I don't know, because he does have to get drunk to do what he's told, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to. He's not evil in that way.
He loves animals, and he was so impressed with Okja when he first saw her. He loved her.
And then
it creeped Okja out.
Yeah. And he was the, main dude. He was the spokesperson, and then here comes Mija, and it's like, hey, bye.
Yeah, and he was loved and became kind of not, I don't know about hated, but just he weirded people out, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, just he was there all these years, and now they want something new. He became irrelevant almost, and we saw that with him signing their little sash. What do you call that? The little ribbon, whatever. And he's like, wow, I'm still popular in Korea. So I liked him. I thought he was kind of sad.
He's a very sad character, yeah. I think so.
And he played that very well. I'm a big Jake Gyllenhaal fan.
He gives his all, man. He's one of the best actors there is. Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. Excellent. He's not what you say? I
was going to say, what kind of caught me off guard, and this is completely irrelevant.
His shorts?
No, when he took his shirt off, and he was still kind of chubby. He didn't have a 6-pack kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I was just he looks fit, and he looks like he'd have a freaking 12-pack. Yeah. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
That's
and
funny.
Then he takes his shirt off, and it's a little it's a little dad bod-ish. It's a little
probably because
chubby.
He doesn't go to the gym every day.
And I'm like, oh my god,
he's a normal person.
He's like one of those. He's tricky. He was tricky, and completely irrelevant. Yeah. But I just paid it. I just thought that was funny.
That just builds the case that he's the everyday man.
Yeah.
You can't just get the 6-pack. You gotta work for that shit.
That's true. But I don't know, because I've seen interviews of all the Spider-Man characters, and Tom Holland does this interview where he's talking about how Jake Gyllenhaal invited him to the gym. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And then he talks about how rigorous his workout routine is, and they do 6 miles, and then they do all these push-ups and stuff. So,
well, I guess just from Johnny Wilcox's character, I wonder if that was CG or a little bit of a bodysuit or something. Yeah, I'm sure Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know if he changed his body for this role. He
That's
probably
true.
did, you know.
Which is even more awesome.
Yeah, that's always awesome when they do that. When they put that kind of stress in their
I
body.
know.
We need more of that. That shows commitment. And then, you know, he gave this role his all.
Yeah.
You don't become more committed than this. You know, he was in it. Whether you liked him or not, he was Johnny Wilcox.
Which brings me to the point that if I could change anything from this movie, it would be him and his like destiny. I want to know what happened to him. You know, we don't know if he died. We saw him get squished, but that's it.
I think he got hit with a bottle by the audience, and he falls over and like, I don't know, trampled to death. It's hard to really know, but I guess it's just another piece of the puzzle with corporations, how they just throw away people who once worked with them. There's just no one
gave years of their lives.
Like, it's just not. There's no loyalty for the company.
That makes his character even more sad.
Yeah, because the company probably killed his reputation too. I mean, 100% believe that probably was the case.
Another one of my favorite scenes was when he first, Dr. Johnny first got there to meet Okja. And he's like all hot because they just had to make this climb. Yeah. And he opens up the fridge to grab a drink, I guess, or cool himself, whatever. And inside the fridge is like all these old shoes and stuff. That scene is just hilarious. Yeah. It's hilarious. It's like, you know, when you go grab a cookie from your grandma's little cookie tin jar.
Stupid,
and she's got
nasty ass candy or something.
Or sewing needles.
Needles,
you know, it's like that.
Yeah,
or like
funny.
when you go to the fridge to get butter and your mom put leftovers in the butter container.
Oh my god.
So it was just funny.
That's funny. They probably my thought why they put their shoes in their fridge was they must have critters who get in their shoes. And so they got to put them in a sealed location.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they probably have an old fridge just hanging around, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then they just use the fridge. That's what my thought was on that. I was like, that's awesome. That's great filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know, building that texture out like that in that house. That, I mean, you know, I like to bring up houses that feel lived in. That house feels lived in. That house feels super lived in. And we don't even see an awful lot of it. I don't know if we see every room even.
I don't think so. We just see that room where when she's grabbing the money.
Yeah. We see that. Yep. And we see that right before that, we see that great shot from her granddad's perspective outside the window. And he's just like, you know, he sees her walk in and the camera pans over through the window and we see her walk in that room and her grandpa's just watching her.
Yeah.
Nothing's being said. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's this stuff.
And we lose some of that in the second half. But I think it becomes a little more energetic and we're moving and we're not very stationary at that point. So I guess I just really like that kind of film work, that stationary film work.
Yeah, that's the kind of film work that you have to pay attention to.
It is, yeah.
And you have to appreciate it. You have to interpret it too. So
I'm just a hipster.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. I like every ounce of being at that place at her granddad's. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Also, like the scene where she is trying to get into the office, I guess, the Miranda Corporation office that's in South Korea, and she like slams into the glass, and it all like shatters everywhere.
Oh,
that was awesome.
That's a great scene.
And then she knocks over a fake tree. Yeah. I'm like, fake, you fakers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know?
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that too. That's so good. I wonder if that would happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Depends on the glass, I guess.
Yeah, that's really great. And then she was like knocking at the glass, and the lady up front was just not paying attention, and then for a minute, and then she was like, use the phone, and then she was like, didn't know the code or something like that, and then she got that lady up front fucking snitched on her.
Yeah, that the bit was great.
One thing I like about Lucy Miranda, and I guess Gus Fring, Giancarlo Esposito's character, was they would bring up their dad. I assume their dad's dead. That's why we probably didn't see him. but I like that we never saw him. That he was just this like looming super overlord, you know, even working the corporation from his grave, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I like that we never saw him.
Yeah.
And it would have been, I guess I do like also that we see Nancy just really at the end, but I could see a reality of not seeing her at all until maybe the very end, and she looks identical, and then we never get a clear, we never get a clear scene where we see Lucy and Nancy being two different characters, but because they're, you know, the same actor.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been a little. I don't know how I'd feel about it, but I feel like it'd be a little interesting to never see them together. We see Lucy lose her shit because of the stage and everything.
Yeah.
And then Nancy, you know, in quotes, takes over, and then we don't see Nancy at all until the very end with where Misha meets Nancy, and then Nancy looks like her and just like, is that Lucy? You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of keeps this ambiguous thing going, and then you can maybe build some.
That would have been crazier. That would have made me think Lucy was even crazier.
You know what I mean? Because like that personality just, it's so extreme. It's so fake that you just feel like, is that Nancy? Is that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, are those like, and then is Giancarlo Esposito's character just playing along with it? Is he like actually at work here, you know? What do you think about that scene where all the characters are arranged just like they were, just like Obama and Hillary's, that picture was with them after Osama bin Laden's been killed?
I didn't notice.
I sent you that picture.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't click that?
No.
Well, there's a scene where they're all sitting at a table, around a table, all the characters.
Uh-huh.
And extra characters that we don't really even have names to. They're arranged in such a way where like he's just mirroring, not even mirroring, he's just straight up, I guess mirror, not in an inverted sense, but he's mirroring Bong Joon-ho is mirroring the shot from when Obama and Hillary are sitting together with their crew, their cabinet or whatever, after Osama bin Laden had been shot. And he said on the record that he just did that to be funny. But it's really kind of fun.
That's so clever.
Yeah, it's so slick that you're just like,
that's awesome.
It's like one of those Coen Brothers thing that you mean something by that, but he's just like, no, I didn't mean anything about that.
Like you did though.
But he didn't. He didn't. You gotta love him for that. You gotta love him for that. Yeah, there's that great shot, like, you know, Tilda Swinton is she's, you know, kind of in Hillary's place, and then
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But
he's in Obama's place.
Didn't know that was a reference, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, that's I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just because we're fucking idiots and Filmsteins, but I feel like that's like a mega deep cut into the world, you know? So like, you're not even American.
I gotta think about that.
You know?
That just goes to show that we are Filmsteins and all these Americans are Filmsteins. But that's awesome. See, he just puts like these tiny little things like that, and it's just
that's what I'm saying, man. He is the filmmaker to look out for today.
Well, now I gotta watch some of his other things.
Well, his other thing is like, I mean, by most people considered to be maybe not most people. That's a impossible statement, but by, you know, tons of people, Parasite is considered to be just one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah, we should watch that soon.
And I have no idea what it's about. I can't wait to watch it though. It's one of those movies that I feel like I need to get prepared for by watching his other work and other great movies, and like building up my like foundation of understanding film and stuff. But you can spend a lifetime, you know, chasing that dream, like so many film appreciation, art appreciation kind of PhD student oriented people do, and they never get around to some of the things they want to get around to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like when you're in a video game, you know, you have all these potions, you're like, well, I gotta save it for this next boss. This boss doesn't seem too bad. I gotta save it to this next boss because he's gonna kick my ass. And then you say that over and over and over again, and then you never use your potions. And then you're like, well, at least I'm good at the game, I guess.
You know what? I'm gonna admit I'm not like that. I use everything I got immediately.
That's immediately may be a problem.
It is a slight problem, but you get them.
Using them,
you get them.
Get this. A lot of games are designed, and like on the back end, they're systematically designed, not like level designed, in such a way that if you the game's gonna provide things at a drip feed pace, right? They're gonna provide things that you need and that you're gonna use. A lot of games do that, and so if you never use anything, of course you're never gonna find anything because you're not using it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it's just like, well, it's just I'm afraid to use it. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
That's gotta be some kind of syndrome, right? Some video game syndrome.
Oh, for sure. Because I'm not afraid to use.
That's good.
Anything.
That's good.
And I mean, I'm even up to like, oh no, I wasted all my potions, and then 5 seconds later, for some reason, this one is here, just sitting on the ground. It's next to the boss. I'm like, whoa, cool. Pick it up.
Yeah. So we cannot wait. We cannot wait for some of these movies. Like there's a Japanese film called
Japanese film.
It's about this filmmaker. I think he's a writer who is like going through a writer's block, and he like the movie's about him overcoming his writer's block, and it's apparently very good.
Okay.
And I think it's called Drive with Us, Drive Me Around. I don't know. I can't remember, but it got a lot of attention the year it came out.
Is it fairly recent?
Oh yeah, it's probably 2020.
Oh, okay, that's very recent.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Parasite's 2019.
Oh, wow.
That's his most recent film, I think. But Bong Joon-ho's most recent film, I think that's Parasite. So we actually should probably be getting ready for his next film, 2023. I would suspect that to be out this year.
Yeah.
Because I think Okja was in 2017, and then Parasite. Okja was 2017, Parasite 2019. That's just crazy. 2 hits like that. I mean, I haven't seen Parasite yet, but I'm sure it's a great film. But God, man, how do you? It's just nuts. It's like Stanley Kubrick. He's the Korean Stanley Kubrick.
Korean Stanley Kubrick. That's funny. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to watch Parasite.
Yeah, it's one of these movies that's just kind of hard to pin down to. That I at least I've heard. It's not just. It's got horror elements. I think it kind of reminds me of that movie we watched, Cairo or Pulse.
Oh yeah,
kind of the way people describe it. That's a good movie.
That was a spooky movie, man.
If I remember that correctly, the movie's a tad bit long.
Yes,
I think it was maybe just around 2 hours. But and talk about filmmaking. How low was that budget? Pulse? I can't even imagine. It probably was no more than 500,000. I mean, probably way less than that. I mean, it seems like a pretty cheap movie to make, and just how effective it is. It's just crazy. I can't believe how expensive some of these movies are, and how not necessarily bad they are, but just how pointless it is. How like unresolved so many things are. But
yeah,
but that's what people seem to want on some level. I don't know.
People just want to be entertained and not have to think about what they're watching.
Well, Disney will provide that for you.
That's true. Disney will provide that for you. Except some Disney.
Speaking of which, I did want to bring up that we were going to do this episode on Spinal Tap, or This Is Spinal Tap. And we watched about 25 minutes of it and could not bear anymore. That movie is ridiculously stupid.
Awful.
And if you appreciate ridiculously stupid things, that should be at the top of your list, but I could not sit through it.
Yep. It just brings the point of, for me at least, comedy is the worst.
Stuff. Yeah. It sings this song, no pun intended, that's in tune with Monty Python, but it just misses that Monty Python thing. I don't even love Monty Python, but I do like watching Monty Python.
At least
Monty
appreciate.
Python. Yeah, because Monty Python was like the embryonic stage of like Jackass and Wild Boys. Like that's funny. That's good shit. But this is Spinal Tap is incredibly stupid.
I was going to sit through it because I want to contribute to the podcast. But I was so glad when you turned it off and you were like, nope. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank you so much for not making me sit through this. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
And it wasn't awful in the sense that it was bad filmmaking. It's this mockumentary of a rock and roll.
I was bored.
But it was so one note.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we get it. maybe because we didn't grow up in the 70s with that kind of that specific type of rock and roll, that we just maybe we don't appreciate it on that level. But
that could be true.
I mean, I love 70s music in
Yeah.
general. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I think on some level, I get all the British invasion stuff, right? I'm a big fan of America becoming obsessed with the Beatles and the Stones,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess the world, I should say, the world. But it's maybe a time and place type thing, kind of like Super Mario 64.
I like Super Mario 64. I don't know why you keep
I missed it.
hating on it.
But the reason I wanted to cover that was because it's part of the Criterion Collection, and I'd like to chip away at those as best we can.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't chip at that one. I'm so glad.
Yeah, we're not gonna get it. We're gonna give all of those. We're gonna give everything the college try. But
that sounded like my history class try.
Yeah. It was, yeah, and it was what it is. And if anyone appreciates that movie, which a lot of people do, highly rated, highly recommended.
Yeah, you said that. You were like, yeah, this has been recommended to me, and I'm like, who?
I don't know. I don't like
By
funny shit.
who?
I like depressing shit. I like feeling sad. All right, I don't like laughing. Okay, it's overrated.
I like, tears streaming down my face for 3 hours after I watch Okja.
I like being disgusted with humanity. I like being embarrassed to be an American.
Yeah,
right?
no, I can only handle so much of that.
I like
in a row. I start getting depressed. I need therapy. I can't. I can't. I need a filler. I need those mindless, like, big
Peter Pan
budget.
and Wendy.
Yeah, I need some of those
Coming up
squeezed in
soon.
there.
Do you have any final thoughts on Okja? You want to talk about the final scene?
The final scene?
The final consequential scene where she... Well, I guess, do you have anything else to say about the final scene where she throws the pig at Nancy? Pretty intense scene. If I was that worker and Nancy was like, do it, what's up with these people, like, not doing their job? He didn't do it for, like, 5 seconds before someone tried to stop him. I would have done that shit half a second after Nancy told me to do it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Just another pig to that guy.
No, because he saw the picture.
He did see the picture.
He saw the picture, man. That's all it took. And he was like, oh, no, man. Like,
that's all it took.
Okay, in my line of work, we work with medical devices. And I understand how some people don't have in the back of their mind at all times working with these devices that this is going inside somebody's body. Okay, I get it. I get it's hard to have that in the back of your mind. But let's say I'm working, on this device specifically, and someone's coming around with a picture of their grandma and saying, hey, my grandma is getting this hip right here, and they show me a picture of their grandma. Like, damn, I'm going to stop and pay a little more attention.
Yeah, I hope so.
So that guy,
yeah,
they got him.
Yeah.
So I think that worked. I think that worked beautifully. But that was such a powerful scene.
Yeah.
I think I was already crying before that.
Yeah, probably.
I was crying when they were walking and we saw all the million Okjas. Just, oh my god, no, that was at the end.
Oh, even before.
I'm saying before she walked
in. On the way in.
Yeah, before they had found Okja. On the way in, and you see them all everywhere, and I I felt them. I felt the tears just, wetting my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and just tears and tears, and then everything just continued until the credits, even after the credits.
I like that scene also kind of points fun at corporations again, because all they care about is money.
Yeah.
Money. And so, she didn't get arrested or, like, nothing consequential for it. Misha, because she gave him that gold pig.
Yeah.
Jay got arrested.
J and K got arrested.
J and K got arrested.
JK.
For, virtually the same thing that Misha was doing, but Misha had that sweet gold pig. Then they got out.
Yeah.
And then we are walking back with the guard. And then all the Okjas start singing.
And then 2 parent Okjas are like, here, take my baby.
That was so sad, wasn't it?
And I just couldn't. I couldn't anymore. I'm like, oh my God.
That is...
You're punching me in the feels.
The best payoff in a movie.
Yeah.
Is that... Because we didn't even... They're outside with the other Okjas and inside the factory so quick that if it doesn't hit you immediately, it's not going to hit you. You know, it's just nothing really happens out there. They're just running in. And then, you know, it gets so intense you immediately are going to forget the other Okja's outside because, you know, this is Mija's moment to get her pig back.
Right.
And then we're released back down the path. And then we're fucking reminded she saves one out of millions. And they're all watching Okja walk away. And, like, they are, like celebrating that one got out.
Why are you going to make me cry again? Why?
And then, yeah, 2 parent Okjas have we didn't even bring that up. I can't remember if Lucy talks about, like, them being stupid in the beginning. I feel like there was kind of implied. But these animals are incredibly smart. We know that pigs are supposedly incredibly smart and we still eat them. But these guys are incredibly smart. And they lift up the fucking between the wires and they kick the pig out. They kick the baby pig out. And then Okja puts it in its mouth. Yeah. You know? No animal would do that. Humans wouldn't even fucking do that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I can't remember if they sing before or after, but then they sing. After. That's like the hardest, maybe 10 seconds of any movie is those pigs singing.
If you weren't crying before, you...
No, that's a gut punch. That's gonna knock the wind out of you for sure. Because it's like, whether you look at it like they're celebrating or they're mourning, endlessly sad. Either way, they're celebrating one saved life, 2, I guess. You know, the little one. But oh my God, it's such a major gut punch. It's so sad.
Yep.
And then I guess another quick early example of, I guess that's the way they kind of cement it in the very beginning of the Okja's intelligence. Okja and Super Pig's intelligence is when Mija falls. She tripped off the cliff.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking Okja's like mega quick to react.
She's thinking. She's like, what do I do? Oh, yeah. Okay, here.
And boom, then when they're hanging there, she plays a little physics game and throws her up there and, you know, trades sides with her. And that's like, I mean, that's even that's a little bit of a tearjerker. You're just like, what just happened to Okja? You know?
Yep.
But, I mean, of course, Okja's fine. She's, you know, a Snorlax character. Right?
Snorlax.
I saw someone say that this is the closest we're going to get for a live-action Studio Ghibli film.
Oh.
I can see some of that. I can see some of that.
Final thoughts. Go see this film.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Feel it.
Like it. Easy to get.
Just let it take you on its adventure with Mija. Just cry when you need to cry.
Yeah, you don't.
Just do it.
You don't even need to read into this movie too much.
You don't.
It's such an experiential film, which I prefer over all their films. It's the experience, you know, that comes with sitting there and witnessing this, you know, the perspective, Mija's perspective in this case, and she's like 13 years old. She's going through this.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna make. God, what else is Mija doing, dude? What is she doing before this and after? What kind of adventures is Mija going on? I need to know. Is there going to be a sequel? I hope not, but...
Yeah, this movie doesn't need a sequel.
No, definitely not. It won't get one.
But, you know, maybe all vegans out there need to just go to the slaughterhouses and pay for a chicken. A live chicken. Maybe that's the way to go about
pay
this.
That premium number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then take care of it.
See
what you can do with that.
Yep. Don't, you know, I'm just going to buy these fake chicken nuggets. No.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any, you know, I'm going to say this, but I'm immediately going to walk back on it. I don't know if there's any group more fickle than the vegans, the vegetarians. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to walk back on it. And see, I think that's just modernity.
You know what? You know this about me, that I went through a vegan phase.
Yeah.
And that was actually around this time, around
2017.
Around 2017.
Did this movie inspire?
I don't know if this movie inspired. Maybe it did, but
on some level,
I think I was already watching a lot of slaughterhouse documentaries and you know, how veganism cured people's diabetes and all these things.
Whoa,
Yeah,
nice.
so I was like, whoa, this
Stop
thing.
eating that fried food, didn't ya?
Yeah.
That's what that means.
So, okay, so I went through a little bit of that. I think I only went one successful month.
Well, good for you.
As a vegan.
That's no matter what, that's a badass challenge.
And it is. It really was, especially coming from a Hispanic background where you go to parties, man. you don't have sides. Sides are not a thing. You just have meat.
Yeah, finger meat.
Yeah, finger meat on meat.
Yeah.
So it was a nice adventure, but again, it's
if anything, you proved your discipline on some level.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It was hard.
It's hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything like that, exercising for a month.
Oh man.
Yeah, go try exercising for, 30 minutes to an hour every day, No, you know what I always say about eating meat? We probably all eat too much meat. We all probably eat too much food, I think, in general.
That's
in America,
true.
especially.
Yes.
No, I can't say too much for the rest of the world, but I can speak from an American's perspective. But we should probably eat somewhere around 15% meat, based off of our dental structure.
Right.
We have the teeth that we have for a reason. They were genetically kind of passed down to us for a reason. Not a higher reason, but a biological evolutionary reason. And so we should probably eat about 15%, because our 15% of our mouth is, if you want to include our front teeth, the digging teeth to eat, bone marrow and stuff, you could say maybe 33%. But, or 25 to 30%. But we don't need to even go that far if we don't want. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna practice veganism anytime soon. Seems expensive.
Yep.
I like what I said about the frozen vegan foods the other day, that these foods are for people who struggle with being vegans.
that was funny.
Yeah.
I laughed when you said that.
The frozen vegan
which is true. And I mean, when I went vegan, like, what did I buy? Vegan butter, vegan chicken nuggets, vegan,
Yeah, you got to displace these things that you only things you know.
Yeah, and I bought Lay's and Oreos.
Yeah.
And
what am I doing here? Oreos are vegan.
Yeah, Oreos are vegan.
No butter.
Nope.
No cream in the cream.
Yep. What are Oreos? I don't know, but they're vegan.
I mean, I gotta hope they're at least plants. Or will vegans eat bacteria?
It's a different type of vegan culture out there that I just barely dabbled in it, but you have all sorts of different types of vegans and it's kind of funny because all vegans kind of hate on each other.
Yeah, it's a religion, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have your just, vegans who don't eat, animals products. Or animal byproducts, products, whatever, but then they wear makeup that have, like a lot of red pigment in makeup.
Or they eat foods that are extremely unsustainable.
Yeah, or like a lot of the red pigment in makeup comes from these insects. So, you're not eating the animal, but you're wearing the makeup. Like, or, your clothes, where are they coming from? Everything about that. So it's a lot. You have your raw vegans who only eat raw things. They don't cook anything. A lot of vegans. And then you have your vegans who don't include fish in their
That's it.
veganism. No, or fish only, I guess. They include, like, you can eat fish.
That's your only meat.
Yeah, fish doesn't count as. What's that Nirvana song? It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Yeah. That's funny because the fishing industry is probably the most fucked up. Of the food of the meat industries. So it's. At least we've bred cows to a point that we must eat them, or else they will just die in the wild. They can't live on their own. We must eat them. Yeah, that's our duty now, because we've fucked up their genome so much.
That's so sad.
And pigs, it's because they're like highly domesticatable apparently, and then pigs are like semi-domesticatable.
Mm-hmm.
So they are able to revert back to their wild side a little bit easier. Yeah, I don't know the technicalities of domestication, but Some
Yeah.
animals are highly domesticatable, and some are not so much, and then some are just not domesticatable. Like deer, for example, they're apparently not domesticatable. We've tried.
I'm glad.
But
I've,
dogs, obviously, highly domesticatable. We should probably eat dogs. To be honest, there's so many wild dogs out there. So many dogs at the pound and stuff. We should probably start cooking them up, right?
I pass on that.
Pass?
Pass on eating dogs.
I'll eat some dogs.
All right.
So many variety, you know? So much variety.
Small dogs, big dogs.
Pit bulls, bulldogs, Great Danes, German Shepherds. They probably all taste the same, but I'm willing to give them a try. Chihuahuas.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not deer. Deer, I have a deer phobia that I didn't know I had.
Yeah, you have a serious deer phobia.
Along with my toad phobia.
You have a toe phobia?
Toad?
Toad. Not
Toad
toe,
phobia.
not toe.
You know about my toad phobia.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this insightful conversation today. Did you become incited?
I became excited.
Excited? Did you learn something?
Did I learn something?
Anything about the film that you kind of took away in from a filmmaking perspective? Anything?
Maybe to appreciate some of these smaller scenes.
Yeah, the more subdued, less energetic ones.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Appreciate some of those, like
Yeah.
the fridge, like the glass
That
shattering.
bit, yeah. The
You know,
tombstones.
not consequential to the film at all, but
No, but world building,
Yeah.
texture building, character
Yes.
building. Character building without even characters being there.
yeah.
Those shoes in the fridge, that just speaks so much just of the human condition at this location, you know?
Yeah.
The ingenuity to put those shoes in the fridge to seal them away from the climate
Mm-hmm.
and the wild world, you know?
Yeah.
Just, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then, not to mention just how people look, of course. And yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Probably also eat less meat, but don't take it too far. Maybe.
Sure.
Think
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I learned because I know everything, but
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just kidding.
true.
I'm just kidding.
You film a
But I do,
stein.
those still shots, those real subdued shots just continue to impress and stick with me and just remind me of my just deep appreciation for those kind of shots. I just love it. It's almost like I forget every time. I can tell you I like those kind of shots, left and right, up, down, Monday through Monday, every day of the week, right? But I'm just constantly reminded those shots are just awesome. Because I don't know, I just never get bored with them, I guess.
Yeah, I have to pay attention to them. I have to.
It made me so excited seeing those. It's so funny. Like they're so subtle and subdued and inconsequential, like you said. And
Yeah.
just, not always inconsequential. 'Cause sometimes they build some kind of dramatic thing happening, of course, or like
Or a little bit
foreshadowing
of background, yeah.
Yeah, but they're just they do kind of live in that realm of being inconsequential normally because they're just beauty shots in a way and flexing that cinematic kind of genius in film and camera work and stuff. But I'm just constantly reminded when I see stuff like that. I mean, that's why I watch movies.
Yeah.
If I don't think if that wasn't in movies, I probably wouldn't watch movies.
It takes movies like this for me to learn to keep an eye out for those.
That's good. I'm glad.
So,
I'm proud. It's hard work.
It is hard work.
I mean, it's not, I'm not laying bricks, but it's hard.
I'm laying mental bricks.
I'm laying mental bricks too. It's a good one. That's a good one. It's hard to stay kind of lecture style attentive to a film because it's just so easy to fall into your chair and then just be entertained or lose track of what's happening because we've all been there. How many times do you watch Nickelodeon and the commercial pops on and you're like, what am I watching?
All the time.
Constantly.
All the time.
Drake and Josh for the millionth time that comes on every day at 6:30. Should know this by now. But thank you for your time and patience today. Thank you for watching this film with me. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Film Steins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.